Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It's Wednesday, February 28th. Got our coffee here a little after 4 in the morning, upstate New York time. So I thought today we would talk about, and I don't want it to get too lengthy because I have a way of just rambling, right? Is what can we tell the next generation and the next generation after that to give them wisdom to do what needs to be done? And where are we failing? And we are failing. Stay tuned. Alright, so welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, and this is the weekday version. And we do this Monday through Friday. And then on the weekend we have other videos. But today I want to go into, passing on an old man's wisdom to the next generation. And where I see our failings and where I see your failings if you are part of the next generation. And the biggest thing I would tell you is you need to believe in yourself, believe in others, and believe in God. Not necessarily in that order, but that would probably be the biggest thing I could do and say to pass on to you. Because what I see today is most of the next generation, and even the one after, is they don't believe in themselves. They don't believe in being unique. They don't believe in being the best you can be. Because we taught them, society, that we went from how to show how to succeed in life is by the amount of input you put into something. And it's not strictly input, it's where you're inputting that energy. See, when I was in school, we had sports. We had soccer, baseball, and basketball. Those were the three. Our school wasn't big enough for football, but we could play football if we wanted to go to the bigger school. We could stay in our school, but we could participate in their football team. But we were taught, that you're going to have winners and you're going to have losers. And that's all part of the game. And that's part of the game of life. You're going to have winners and you're going to have losers. All right? And we were taught that. And we were also taught to have good sportsmanship. Of when we were winners, you didn't make the other team feel like a piece of crap. And if you were losers, you congratulated the other team for winning the game. And there were times where we were a better team, we got beat. And there were times when we were a lesser team going up against a bigger school and beat them. But we don't teach that anymore. And a lot of things in sports you can relate to in real life. Now, everybody that's involved in anything gets a participation trophy. So there's no winners, there's no losers. Everybody walks out the door with a trophy. What are you teaching the the next two generations when it comes to sports. You're telling them that they shouldn't be better than somebody else, that everybody is equal. And see, I believe everybody is equal to a certain point, but the difference is going to be how you apply yourself. We've talked about this with schoolwork, that the person that studies and takes notes and is in class most often will get a better grade, right? But now we can't go by that. I'm watching school districts, school systems, even in New York City, it's propagating up this direction of saying we need to lower our standards. Why do we need to lower our standards when it comes to school? Well, because the kids are not, everybody as a group is not doing as well. So instead of approaching the problem of how do we teach our kids what they need to know while they're in school, should be top priority, not by reassessing and lowering the bar of who can jump and who can't. See, when I was in school, if you didn't have passing grades, you were held back. And nobody wanted to be held back. But that was the way it was. Either you got passing grades or you were held back a year. And they want to blame all this on COVID, and you can't blame it all on COVID because it's been going on now for the second generation of lowering the bar. And what are you teaching that child to get equipped and ready for the real world when they get out of school? That everybody's equal, that let's lower the bar, we don't have to put in any effort, but we should get back as much as the one that is busting their ass. Does that sound fair? It is in today's society. So that needs to change first. It's a generational change. We need to go back to you get what you give. And if you're unwilling to give, then why should you get? I mean, I don't know how much simplistic I can say it. Because people are not believing in themselves. And they don't want to excel because they were taught that excelling and being better than somebody else is not good, inherently good. And that's wrong. Having faith in yourself to steer the course of your ship of wherever you want it to go should be a given, but it's not. People want to call the next generation and the generation after that lazy. I just think they haven't got the wisdom to go forward with it because they didn't have to deal with losing or feeling exhilarated by winning. If that makes any sense. So you have to be true to yourself. And you may have to take and rework how you look at things. again, I know you weren't taught this in school, and I know damn well that if you're in school right now, you're not being taught any of this of, good moral character values, reading, writing, arithmetic, social studies, history, all the things you should be knowing. Because if we forget what our history is, we're gonna redo it, right? You learn from your history. And if you decide not to learn from your history, what's going to happen? It's going to come back and you're going to redo it again until you finally learn the value of life lessons. So the first thing I would tell you as a next generation, as a generation after, is, believe in yourself and understand that there are winners and losers, and that if you want to get ahead in this world right now, you have to have a different mentality of, I'm going to go get it, versus standing here waiting for it to come to you. If you're standing there waiting for it to come to you, good chances are it's not going to come. And that perfect job doesn't exist. It may take a while to find a good job that you like, but that perfect job doesn't exist. So the second would be having faith in other people, right? But we don't. We don't have faith in other people because we aren't developing the relationships that we should. And why aren't we? Well, this goes back to a couple of videos I've put out on this. Is the relationships that you're developing are on Snapchat, Facebook, YouTube, all these other things, right? So you're not getting that in-person feeling, per se. You're getting whatever that person's persona that they're putting out is. And what I found is, in this realm of texting and this and that a lot of times people are putting out a persona that is totally opposite of themselves. So when you put trust in somebody else, you need to know who the real person is, right? Not just the persona they're putting out. And a lot of times that comes from interactions in person. Now, don't get me wrong, Snapchat, certain ones you can interact with, right? But you're only going to see, like on YouTube, what I want you to see versus what is real. And in my case, I'm comfortable enough in my skin, you're seeing the real. But for a lot of people, they don't feel confident in themselves. And they're putting out something that they think you would like because they don't like themselves. So in order to change that of not liking yourself, that needs to change, right? Because you're so worried that nobody else is going to like you for the real you. And I'm here to tell you that's wrong. If you allow the real you to come out, you will have better relationships with other people. Because if it's freely given back and forth of being real, and just being yourself, that's where bonds and friendships develop and relationships develop. And that's why people are not connected to each other like we used to be. It starts with the individual. It starts with me and how I feel about myself, and having faith in myself and having faith in others that I can be real, I can be myself around the others, right? And this should all be taught in grade and high school. It's called socialization. All right, folks? This isn't rocket science. And then lastly is my belief in God, or your belief in something greater than yourself. See, we as humans, we put laws on the books, right? You know, about stealing or speeding or this or that. But my generation was taught this not being taught is that there's somebody greater than ourselves. They're always watching. And they know what you know. They know if you're doing right or wrong. And the last thing you want to do is doing wrong. Even though you can get put in jail for stealing, I guess not anymore, but the fact that you can go to jail was less inherent than displeasing God. That comes from having good morals and good character, right? So with having no belief system in place and no accountability, if you're part of the next generation or that afterwards, you're not seeing any repercussions of your actions. And you guys have come to the point of where you're making being a thief and burning places and doing damage to somebody else's property as okay. And it's not okay. Would you want someone to do that to you? You know, it's like my grandfather always used to say, and it wasn't his saying, that don't toss names from a glass house. And what he was meaning is that if you're throwing rocks from a glass house, good chances are your house can come crumbling down the minute someone throws a rock back, right? So somewhere we need to get back into believing in someone greater than ourselves. And it doesn't matter who or what religion you're part of. We need to get that belief system back in place. And that doesn't mean that you have to go worship at a church on Sunday, even though I think that would help because it's more of a community socialization function versus being religious. And you could talk to God anytime you want to talk to him. You don't need an interpreter or someone to go between. And God could be a he or she in any color you want. Up to you. But you have to have that belief system in place of someone greater than you, or the morals and values that should be being taught aren't. And the only thing that repercussion is what laws are on the books, and that changes by the wind, you know. So those are the three things that I would pass on to the next generation and the generation after that. Belief in yourself and learning that, you know, in order to get ahead, you have to apply yourself. And in order to become successful, it doesn't come easy, and you can't sit back and wait for it to happen. You need to go find it, okay? Second point, building good relationships. And that is with friends, and that is with your future partner. And they need to be real. And you need to be real for that to succeed. And then finally, having a belief in something that's greater than you. You need to put that back into your life. That's probably the biggest change I've seen, is that nobody believes in anything. And if you don't know right from wrong, then you have chaos, right? And I think that's what we have right now, is chaos. So on that note, you guys have a great Wednesday. We'll catch you here bright and early tomorrow morning. All right.